hear an ancient voice whispering from the void, and it chills my lightless heart.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, it is Duckville here. Welcome to another replay I picked up off the Korean server. I know some of you guys like the foreigners playing in some of these replays. Some of you like the Koreans playing, especially the awesome Koreans. And some of you like longer games as well. So I'll tell you what, we'll mix all three together and make this one pretty epic. As you can see, we are on Metalopolis here, and our Zerg player is Liquid Haypro from the Team Liquid team, who's over in Korea. I'm not actually sure if Haypro is... he must be back either way, because this replay has just gone up. I'm not sure how old it is. It is from patch 1.2, so whatever. I assume he's back in Korea and rolling along on the servers there. And in this particular game, he rolled across our good friend Slayer's Mills. This is actually Mills from the Slayer's team. We do see a very cool Overlord trick there, pulling it away before the Terran can actually see it. But yeah, this is actually Slayer's Mills from the Slayer's team, featuring Boxer, Celawera, Golden, all of those dudes. And yeah, this is actually going to be a pretty cool game. This is a bit of a long one. Make sure you have your seatbelt on. Make sure you got a pillow and a comfy chair. Make sure you're not sitting on your leg or anything like that, because it's probably going to fall asleep because you'll be sitting on it for a while, because this one does go for quite a while. As you guys know, I do like the longer replays to sort of get into the mid and late games and have a look at some of the ways that players, especially high-level players, actually cope with you know, the longer sorts of things like that. And as we can see here, just starting off the game, we do actually have 2 racks here from Mills. He's actually going to get that going. Pretty standard opening against Zerg, and as we can see, Haypro is going to know that that is on the way. So obviously we are close air positions on Metalopolis, and we are sort of the medium distance of ground positions. So it'll be interesting to see how Haypro actually copes with this early 2 racks pressure. His opening for the moment is actually to get a hatch first, which is quite interesting, since he did actually see the 2 racks that was there. I did not select your wolf statue. Go away. Why can you select the wolf statue as part of the units? I've got no idea why that happens. That's really ridiculous to me. Anyway, scouting SCV coming through is going to see the hatchery, does indeed see it, and he's going to see that the spawning pool is down, almost done. It's just about to pop up there and do that little cool explosion that they do. And what we're going to see is a little bit of, it looks like a marine pressure opening there, of course. The marines are going to come across, and they are going to be putting some pressure on this hatchery, which is of course what you always want to do, whether you are Terran or Protoss. It is really good to just try and get at least one, get that first zealot, get that first, those first couple of marines, come out there, just put a little bit of pressure on, say, you know, hey dude, you're not actually going to be able to take this hatchery with no pressure. And it looks as if the double bunker did actually try and go down there, but it's not going to work, and it looks as if Haypro might be able to fend this off. He's got a couple of Zerglings are out already, not to mention this spine crawler is almost done as well. Drones are coming to help out with the attack here, and it looks like, yeah, he's going to clean this one up quite easily. These marines are going to have to turn around, because otherwise they're going to get poked in the face by the emu, as the emu does just pop up now. Emu is the spine crawler, for those of you who haven't seen any of my other replays. I'll tell you what, while we're here, just in this early bit of the game, we'll make sure that no one messages me, because there is one particular person who likes to message me whenever I am watching a replay, because he is an absolute tool. Yeah, let's just see. We got both these players trying to make sure... Seriously, wolf statue, go away. Both players trying to control the Zelnaga watchtower, although it looks as if Mills is actually going to have another look at pushing in here into Haypro's base, but I do not think this is going to be too easy for him to do. He's actually going to go around the spine crawler there. He knows that there's obviously at least one spine crawler there. Comes across, and Haypro deftly actually moves his drones away along with the Queen, and the Marine looks like Marines are going to actually have a go at taking out some of these units here. The Lynx come around, beautiful surround there by Haypro. Queen's coming across to lend a hand, or a couple of big-ass tentacles that they have on their bodies. I don't know, they look like tentacles. Something like that. Something that looks like Queen of Blades, but anyway. Let's just have a look at what we are getting in the tech here. We've just got the 2 racks, of course, and then the command center is going straight up there. 4 mils, he's going to have that done just now. There we go. That will probably switch over into orbital command straight away. A couple of these Marines are not going to get away back home to have a nice dinner because they are going to get eaten up by these Zerglings. This one gets done, and this last Marine, what an absolute hero, gets away on 10 HP, and he'll be happy to get home to tell his kids about that story. But looks as if Haypro is going to drone up a little bit. He's got 8 drones on the way. A whole heap of them are going to pop out shortly, and Ling's speed has just started as well. A couple of creep tumors are coming as well. There's one thing which I think was alluded to in one of the GSL casts just recently, was how good the foreigners are. It's at actually spreading creep. It's like it's actually not as important for many of the Korean players when they're actually playing, is that they don't sort of specifically aim to make sure they get a really awesome creep spread. There's a couple of players who do, of course. You got Nesty, who does a great job of doing it, and who's that other dude? I can't actually remember, but there are a couple of players that do, but it seems as if every high-level foreigner Zerg player actually does a really good job of actually spreading the creep around. And as we can see, Haypro actually has 3, is it 3? No, we actually have 4 creep tumors that are heading out around the map, and looks as if he's not happy with Emperor Menk's statue there, so he's going to get rid of that, which actually does provide him with a little bit more room to move around in, because of course when you're playing in a Terran versus Zerg, depending on what your Terran opponent does, you want to make sure you have a lot of room to swarm around in, because of course being Zerg, that's what they like to do. So, you know, they don't like to play basketball, they don't like to play football, they just like to swarm stuff. So, nice little bunker here. Only 1 Marine actually in it, so Mills is just, I'm not sure whether that's just like a fake bunker, which you do see sometimes, or whether it's just actually because he's got his Marines out in the map. But there we go, the creep tumors are doing a nice job spreading out there. We do see the tech going down from, Mills has got a combat shield, and also Stim is going to be on the way. We may see some sort of timing attack once both of those are done, because as you can see up here on the clock, they're sort of roughly in sync there. Obviously the combat shield's going to finish a little bit quicker because it is of course quicker anyway. Haypro coming down here to the 5 o'clock position, taking this hatchery down here. He's going to get that up and running quite quickly. A little bit of a Nesty-esque style 3rd hatchery there very quickly. And looks as if he's going to get some tech on the way here as well. We do have a spire down here in the back of the mineral line. This is getting quite popular to actually see the spire go down in the mineral line, just for 2 reasons. One, it's a little bit more protected when it's down here. And 2, if your opponent scans and they don't actually, you know, check the buildings that are inside the scan, it can actually just, you know, sort of fool them into thinking it may be a spine crawler or a spore crawler or something like that. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you are doing that sort of, when you're placing your structures. Obviously it can be very important, especially for Zerg, to be very careful of where you put your structures. So it will be interesting to see if that gets noticed straight away. 2 Evo chambers here. We got melee attack and the carapace as well, of course. So the Zerglings and the Banelings, I think we saw a couple of Banelings here, are going to be able to do some nice damage against the Marines. Obviously they're going to have a little bit of trouble because there's quite a sizable force here from Mills. He's going to come across here to the Zelnaga Watchtower, check out what's happening over here. Can't see too much. You can see that there is certainly a lot of creep over here, and of course he's going to want to make sure that he can stop these creep tumors wherever he can, because as we can see, 2 creep tumors over here. We've got, was there one over? No, there's just a couple over here. We got 2 down here. We got another one up there. He's certainly all over the place with his creep tumors. Here we go, nice little battle here. Baneling's trying to get into those Marines, but the Marines are being protected quite nicely by the bodyguard Marauders. And the Marines finally get cleaned up there, but the Zerglings come in and just actually finish up the rest of that job. And these Zerglings are going to try and run away and just clean up the rest of these units that are hanging around the map. So nice little attack there by Haypro to just sort of downsize the army of Mills. And we do have the flyer attacks, level 1 is on the way. So we'll probably see Haypro actually move into quite some heavy Mutalist harass, which would be really cool to see, because that's quite a powerful little utilization tool for you to make sure you keep the Terran in check, because you don't want this dude like floating around. As we can see, he's got a command center already heading across to the 3rd, so he's taking that 3rd in quite a nice time, and he's obviously going to transfer some of these SCVs across, because that's actually one thing Mills has been doing really well, is keeping on top of these SCVs. If we have a quick look at the income there, Haypro is obviously in the lead of the actual income just for the moment, but we've got 64 SCVs already out for Mills, and we do have 82 drones in total. I think there are a couple more on the way. No, there aren't, but we do have 12 Mutalisks on the way, so we're going to see some Mutalist harass in just a second. As we can see here, Mills is trying to clean up as many of these creep tumors as he can, putting down a scan, just making sure he can get every single one that he can, and it looks like he has cleaned up some of the active ones that were there, and just cleaning up some more of these here, making sure that he's got enough room to maneuver when he actually goes in for an attack, because of course if you've got creep everywhere, number one, the Zerg can actually see what you're doing and where you're actually maneuvering, and of course the creep provides also the ground unit movement speed, which is really awesome, especially when you've got banelings and Zerglings on the map. So we've got some Mutalisks flying out. These guys are going to run around and just clean up some of these any stray units that are sitting out there for Mills. And we do have a couple of turrets going up in the mineral lines. We've got one over here covering the gas. We've got one here in this mineral line. And of course there'll probably be a couple here at this third, because the third will be quite an important one for Mills to make sure he holds, because of course if he loses that, he's going to slowly but surely fall down in his economic production. And it looks as if Haypro is going to come in here. He sees one turret, he's going to take that one out, because he does have a huge ball of Mutalisks here. We actually have a total of the many Mutalisks. We actually have a drop here. Did not see that one, but Banelings come in and clean that up, and the Mutalisks obviously come back as well. And I think that drop was just a distraction, because he comes down here. Mills is actually going to come in here, clean up some of these creep tumors, and try and attack this fourth base, which he is going to take quite easily. You better cancel that one, Haypro. He does actually cancel it, so nice timing there. He's going to kill a few Overlords as well, which is actually really cool, because now Haypro is in the red for his supply. These forces here are going to be whole position. They're going to block any incoming attacks from the ground, and it looks as if there are so many Banelings anyway coming through, ripping up every single unit that was blocking the ramp, and then the Mutalisks obviously helping out there as well. The hatchery does get up, but of course the hatchery is now in quite dire straits of its health, so for the moment we'll see if Haypro can actually hold this. This is obviously now a fourth base, considering this one actually died, but he's going to rebuild it actually, which is pretty cool. We have +2 flyer attacks on the way, so Haypro is definitely going to be sticking with the Mutas for now, making sure that he controls the skies, make sure he controls any drops, which is a very important part of this sort of positioning on Metalopolis. You see a couple of Marines coming through here with a scan. They're going to come up against these Mutalisks with their +1. The Marines only have their combat shield. I don't believe they actually have any... oh, they do have +1 for armor and the attack, of course, and the Marines are still actually going to get absolutely swamped by these Mutalisks here. The Mutalisks coming through, cleaning up these Marines, and once these Marines are gone, of course, these tanks and medevacs will also die, but it looks as if some supporting units do come down, and Haypro is going to have to retreat these guys. If you have a look at the health there, we've got just one of the Mutalisks actually with low health, but the rest are generally doing quite fine. They actually are keeping fit, eating their fruits and, you know, salad, everything like that, keeping nice and fit. And we have another push coming down here from Mills, so he's going to have to make sure that he pushes across down here and takes advantage of the fact that Haypro has to be very careful with his Mutalisks. Of course, the problem for Mills at the moment is that he has so few Marines. It's not really going to matter how many Banelings that Haypro has. He's just got so many Mutalisks flying around, and there's just not enough Marines to control the sky. We do have 2 Thors though, which will actually make a big difference. And we do see an attempted 4th base going down for Mills, but he's not going to get that one up. We do have an attack coming through here. The Banelings coming through, rolling through these Thors, and some of the Marines there actually do go down, but it looks as if that is not going to be a safe attack for Haypro. He's going to have to, I would say he's going to need to pull back, because there are still a few Marines left over, and these Marines are going to take care of the Mutalisks, of course, and they'll be forced out. And it looks as if Mills is going to try and get his 4th up again across that side. And as we can see, mentioned before, the creep tumor is fantastic. Look at this creep spread. This is going all over the map here. So Haypro has good vision. He's got good movement for his ground forces. And of course, he's still trying to get more of these creep tumors up, which is really good to see. A couple of spine crawlers here in defense of the main, of course, because the Mutalisks cannot be everywhere at once. And as we can see, he's still got more Metalopolis on the way. A lot of banelings coming through as well. He's going to morph those up and then bring these guys down for defense. And it looks as if Mills is still, this is like he's some cleaner at someone's house, just trying to make sure that crap doesn't get all over the floor, and he's just having a really hard time doing it because he's run out of Windex or something. But Mule is still flying around. They're going to clean up this one Marine. He's going to be a bit disappointed that he got stuck there at the balcony of the Zelnaga Watchtower. A couple of tanks here. This is a nice little tank group here, and a lot of Marines as well. So Mills is really going to need to kick up his production a bit, I think, because he's just sort of falling behind in his actual capability. As you can see here, Haypro at 195 and Mills at 192 on their supply. So both of them are very much at a high point of their armies, but it just seems as if Mills actually has just such a small amount of Marines considering how much Haypro actually has out on the map. But of course, we'll see what Haypro can do with his smaller amount of forces. Doing a little bit of Marine splitting here from Mills. He's going to lose a minimal amount of Marines, but it looks as if there's, like I said, just so many Banelings and Middleists coming across here. They are going to clean up what is left there. These Marines, however, do come across and kill off this 5th base. 5th goes down. A couple of Banelings are going to have to come through and clean up these Marines, which they do indeed do. And I think, what are these medevacs doing? Not really sure what's going on there, but let's hit up the production tab. Hive is on the way from Haypro, so he's going to have the higher tech done shortly. And of course he's starting to get a little bit low on the minerals. Of course the main is already gone, but he's starting to get a little bit low at the natural here. This is going to move into a position where Haypro needs to be careful of his actual unit usage, given that if Mills is actually really careful with his own unit production, Haypro could be in a little bit of trouble depending on what units he decides to go for. We do see that Infestors, we got 2 Infestors on the way from Haypro, and we have some Marines trying to come up here. It looks as if Mills might actually try and take this gold expansion. Not sure if he's going to be able to do it just at the moment, given this massive force of Zerglings is coming up from Haypro. And of course the Metalists are backing these ones up as well, so they're going to come sweep across here. They're actually going to run into the main, and Mills is caught out of position. He's going to have to stem, and we're going to see a huge attack. Not sure what these Zerglings are doing. They're just running across, and they're not going to get too far in. But the Zerglings are probably going to get cleaned up here. Not really too much happening. And of course these Metalists, a little bit of miss micro, I'd say, from Haypro. He loses a lot of these Metalists that he had. He had something like, what was it? It was like 12 or 15 Metalists or something in that one group. But now he's actually down to... he's only down to the 8 in this group. There's a couple more on the map somewhere. We do have some Corruptors though, so expect to see Broodlords shortly once this Great Aspire is done. And we do have another attack coming down here from Mills. He's going to push with these tanks and these Marines, of course. Check out this huge column and a couple of Thors as well, just for the fun of it. Make sure he can control any of these Metalists that do come down. And we'll see if Mills can actually push into this side here. If he can actually take out these 2 hatcheries, he'll be in a really good position. But it looks as if he's going to have to slow push in. And Haypro did try and take this gold, but this gold is not going to last, I don't think. But I'll tell you what is going to last is this side, because it's, if Haypro is controlling his units nicely, which he has been doing so far. Look at that, nice little spread there, making sure that his units are decently positioned so that once the Terran attack comes in, he can actually just swarm around them. A couple of Infestors here with this one with a lot of energy. This one just obviously used the fungal growth just before, but we'll see what happens. Broodlords are out there. We do have 7 Broodlords here at this side. They're going to come in here and flank across the side. Marines are going to try and get in underneath them and actually remove the Broodlords, but they're going to get swamped. Check out that fungal growth along with the Zerglings. Holy crap, this is actually just absolutely destroying my graphics card at the moment. But the Broodlords most of them do go down. A lot of these Marines do get lost as well. This production from Haypro is absolutely fantastic. As we can see, just a whole massive swarm of Zerglings coming in. And as we can see, Haypro is just barely going to defend off this attack. So he does get in there and just fends it off. A couple of these Metalists are going to try and get across to these medevacs and get them shot down. And a few of them will survive. These guys are going to survive, but we do see a split there to try and actually make sure that he can keep some of them alive at least. A little bit of a sacrifice there by this medevac, but it finally does go down. And Haypro did a nice job deflecting that attack. Just what he did, obviously, when the Marines came across to actually get underneath the Broodlords, we saw a fungal growth, and then the swarm of the Lings just coming across and just eating up all of those Marines like some sort of dinner. I was trying to think of some funny dinner, but I couldn't actually think of one. Bit of a fail there, but a couple of turrets up here at this 5th expansion here for Mills, and he's going to get a whole heap of mills down here to mine out this base. This is obviously going to be mined out quite quickly when you have like 50 billion mills at it, but massive fail on the fungal growth. Those Marines were nowhere near that. We do have a whole heap of Broodlords, Zerglings, and Corruptors, and of course a whole lot of Banelings coming across here. The tanks are going to clean up a lot of these units, but of course now the tanks are just going to explode. Bam! Check that out. That is a 4 hit there, and of course these Broodlords are still going to have a nice job taking out these Marines, but it looks as if the Marines are actually going to have a fun time cleaning up these Broodlords as well. Broodlords falling over all over the place. These guys look like Batman. I swear they look like the Bat Signal or something like that. And let's just have a look at the actual tech production. We do have 8, that is right, 8 Ultralisks on the way from Haypro. He's going to have an absolutely massive army, not to mention a Nidus network is going to be here, so we may see some Nidus fun in just a minute. Whole heap of Zerglings are piling into this Nidus worm, I believe. There it is. We have the Nidus worm just popping out now. Looks as if Mills is not really prepared for this at all. He does remove the SCVs from that base, but of course these Zerglings are going to come in here, clean up some of these turrets, which may make room for Mutalisks and or Broodlords to come in and clean up this base, but we'll see what happens. Mills is finally coming in with some tanks and some Marines to try and clean up this attack, but he's not going to get it. I think Haypro might actually just return to the network and get back in the subway and head back to town, because he's done his job, what he needed to do there, which was obviously cleaning up the turrets. So the Overlord's still here to spot this this position, and of course, as we can see, we do actually have a drop coming in here from Mills. Absolutely fail there on the medevac. One of the medevac actually goes down because there are so many Corruptors here, and as we can see, the power of these Ultralisks are already making themselves evident there as they just rip through all of those Marines that were dropped in. And if we have a look at the tech, we actually have almost every single tech, like the extra sort of tech pieces that you never see. High-sec tracking is done. Neo Steel Frames is almost done, which will give Mills a little bit of a bonus here. But of course, these Ultralisks coming in, and they are absolutely ripping through everything. These Ultralisks are going down slowly, but they have done a nice job cleaning up whatever they can. Some Broodlords off to the side, of course, just wreaking absolute havoc from the side. And the Broodlords are trying to clean up some of these tanks as well. So these Ultralisks have all gone down. There's another 7 in production, along with 26 Zerglings. And we'll see what he can actually do, because we're sort of getting to an interesting spot on this map where this this base and, of course, this 4th here, well, the 4th's actually almost done. So essentially, the 5th over here for Mills is the only one that's actually fully active just at the moment here, and the Broodlords are coming across to try and deny that as well. And as we can hear, another Nidus is on the way. It's got a couple of units in here. We've got just a whole bunch of Zerglings and one lonely Ultralist to lead the army. And this medevac's got a death wish, because that one goes down straight away. The Zerglings coming in here to clean up these turrets, going to allow the Broodlords in to take a shot at the command center. But of course, Mills comes across with a whole heap of tanks, actually sort of semi-blocks himself on the ramp there. Fungal goes down, and the Fungal is going to allow that one Ultralist to get in there and hack away at the Marines, but it does, of course, get mowed down by the massive DPS from the Marines. And we want to see maybe another Fungal if he can. No, we can't, because that Infestor goes down straight away. This command center is just sitting up in the air. You'd want to see those Corruptors move across and try and take it out, but just not for the moment, it seems. As you can see, check that out. That is the, for those of you who have never seen it, that is actually the upgraded version of the bunkers with the Neo Steel frames. So hardly ever actually see that in many games, but these Marines are going to come across. They're not going to be able to take out these Broodlords, because of course the Broodlords do have +1 armor, and they do also have 24 damage when they use their Broodling Strike, plus of course the extra damage that the Broodlings do once they are on the ground. Now they're going to finally get in here. The Marines are going to clean this up, but this is sort of a quite an interesting position for Mills, because he obviously can't really control this gold expansion just for the moment, but he can try and actually do some more harassment. This Nidus network is coming right into effect here, bringing in lots of units into the 5th base here. Haypro is obviously trying to deny this 5th, and if he can do that, we will obviously see the game one for Haypro there, but I'm not sure if he can just at the moment because he's obviously got a lot of Ultralisks, but obviously just that power of the Bio Army from Mills is going to provide him with a lot of defense against the Ultralisks, and of course this one Ultralisk, check this guy out, he's going to lumber on home. He is trying to hang out there at the gold expansion to make sure it's not taken, but let's just see where the gold is sitting at for Haypro. This one's slowly getting down and down. I think that's, yeah, still got a reasonable amount left for the moment there. Of course, we do have, check out the actual money situation for Haypro. He's on 7,000 minerals along with 15,000 gas, so Haypro's certainly in a position to actually just spam out a whole bunch of units. When he loses his army, you'd want to see that 300 push that Day 9 talks about on the Day 9 Daily. Make sure you check that out. And of course, here we go, a huge force of Ultralisks coming across, along with some more Broodlords. Fungals going down all over the place. Fantastic move there by Haypro. Ultralisks coming through, but there is just so much damage coming out of these Marines, and they're going to be micro back a little bit to make sure they stay alive as long as possible, but the Marines are going to get mowed down by those Broodlords, I believe, just because there are so many of them. They do take out a couple of the Broodlords, and there's one more left over, but it's just not enough for the moment for Mills to actually push in, because when he loses his army, it's all gone, and he has to take a long time to actually reproduce it. As you can see here, we have a whole heap of racks that are out, and of course there's all those ones over there. We got these ones here. We have all of these racks down here. That's an actually massive amount here. Nidus Network again providing a lot of hassle at this 5th base, but of course, as we can see, these minerals are pretty much all done and dusted anyway. And it looks as if Mills is going to have another attempted push down here. He's spotted that Haypro has obviously lost the hatchery, and his drones are going to have to long distance mine at the gold, and it looks as if he's going to push in here, slowly come across. We'll probably see these tanks siege up in a second. No, we won't, but the Zergling's actually providing a bit of a deterrent against that. Broodlord's coming across from the side there, scan going down to make sure he can see all of these creep tumors and everything that is around that he needs to stop. A couple of Ultralisks coming across there. The Ultralisks are going to wreak havoc on these bio units for the moment. Of course, they're actually flanking all of these units. Picks them all up. Mills actually picks all of these units up, and he's going to take them back. This is not a good position for Mills, though, because now his siege tanks are a little bit undefended. They are going to rip up some of these Ultralisks, though, which is good to see. We are down to these 4 Ultralisks here in this attack for Haypro, and he's going to be able to defend all of this. He does a great job, actually, defending the that attack there, just sort of utilizing the immobility of the Terran forces, and it looks as if we will see... Looks like Mills isn't actually sure where he's going to drop all of these. There's obviously a whole heap of units which Haypro has out defending, and if we have a quick look here, we actually have this gold has been picked up by Mills. He's going to be able to utilize these mules. He's probably got a whole heap of mules to use if he can, and it looks as if Haypro has now spotted this and is going to attempt to stop this from being utilized. And the Zerglings coming in, I think there are way too many Marines for this to actually be attacked by Haypro, but it looks as if he's going to give it a shot anyway. The Ultralisks coming through, they do have +3 to their damage, plus obviously the 5 on their armor, so they don't take much damage, but when there's that many Marines, you actually see them take a whole heap of damage. So Mills will actually defend the gold. Haypro trying to get his gold up for the moment here. We do have a couple of Zerglings over at this expansion, and one Broodlord. This Broodlord with 6 kills. He is a Slayer. He is an old school band, and we'll see what this Broodlord can do. We'll probably see these Vikings. There they are. The Vikings are going to come across to that expansion and make sure they can shoo that little Broodlord away. As you can see, Mills just really taking advantage of the fact that, check this out, all of these these are actually full just a moment before. These hadn't been touched, and now they are all really getting low there. But of course, these Zerglings are going to try and stop it what they can. But it looks as if Mills are going to come across here to Haypro's gold as well, because Haypro still has a little bit left on his gold. But there are so many units from Haypro, unless we see some decent micro, and we do see some decent micro. Baneling's rolling in. Those guys are just coming across. They're going to take care of some of these Thors. No, they won't actually. Brilliant pickup there from Mills, actually picking up that wounded Thor. Ironically, in a medevac with 9 HP. But the attack is... I don't think this is going to be successful there, because we do have, obviously, only the 3 Thors left over. Mule being put down there by by Mills, sorry. He's going to try and repair that Thor, and the Thor is going to stay alive just for the moment. This Thor is a bit of a hero Thor for the moment. It's being repaired by that Mule, and the Mule is gone, I believe. No, the mule is still there, just did a really terrible job. You are fired, son. And the Thor's all going down now, so that attack once again has been deflected by Haypro. As you can see, check out, that gold is pretty much gone. We're down to just a few mining positions on this map. We have this 5th over here. We have the few minerals left over here at the gold expansion. Of course, Haypro has this one as well. There is all sorts of... it's an interesting position because Haypro is now just about done with all of his minerals in his bank at the moment, and of course somehow, I really have no idea, I guess it's obviously because Mills has been using just a very heavy bioforce, but he has 5,000 gas sitting in the bank there, so he's certainly got enough to pull out some of the heavy gas units, and as we can see here, these SCVs are going to just take care of that gold in just a second. What we want to see now, I know some of you may have actually seen the long game with Nesty and who was it? I can't actually remember. I don't know. I'll pop a link down there right now in the video there. So have a look at that game when you've got some time as well. That was a long game between who was it, man? I cannot remember. Either way, Nesty and some other Terran dude who I have a few casts of. But you get to this position in the late game of a Terran versus Zerg, and you sort of have to think about the long game, and obviously a lot like in Brood Wars, where you would see the late game switch into either very high-powered units that would just do massive amounts of damage and try and finish off your opponent, or you would see the game turn into the units that actually use a lot of energy. So what we want to see out of the players is actually some production of sort of ravens, a lot of infestors, that sort of thing. So you actually have a resource that actually regrows, you know, the energy. So as we can see here, infested Terrans providing a nice job of actually just warding away this command center, which technically now isn't actually going to be used at all because the gold is all cleaned up now. But you want to see some infestors, ravens, that sort of thing, just so you actually have units that, whilst they don't automatically do massive amounts of damage, they do provide a longer term solution of actually attacking your opponent. Another Nidus Worm actually coming out here from Haypro. This is full of units here. He's going to get in here and actually stop this expansion, which I don't think he's going to do. Even if he wanted to, he's not going to be able to stop this because of course the command center can just lift up and the SCVs can just run away. So we'll see what happens there. Mills is going to try and come back across and actually deflect this attack. There we go, the command centers just lift up. They're all fine. They're just going to watch from the skies, and we do see the attack coming in here. So we got some Mutalisks, we got some Zerglings, and we got some Ultras out on the map. Haypro is now long distance mining this gold and has been for some time, so his income is going to be quite low, although interestingly it is obviously higher than Mills is for the moment, because Mills obviously has nothing mining really. It's because the command center had to lift up. So this command center lands again. Mills are going to want to come in and defend this expansion. There we go, the Ultralisks and the Fungals going down on every single unit there that Mills had, picking up every single unit, I believe, with the Fungals, and the Ultralisks are going to be able to clean up all of this. Thor is going to go down as well. There is not much left on the map for either of these players. We've got a grand total of 14 Zerglings. We've got 1 Ultralisk, 3 Mutalisks, 3 Infestors, and on Mills' side, Mills has 4 Marauders. He's got 7 Marines, 2 tanks, and 1 Raven. So neither of these players are actually going for any of those the long-term solution units. So we'll have to just see what happens, because we are now, I think, once these mineral patches are gone, we are actually fully mined out, because now the gold from Haypro has been all picked up by these drones, and we'll have to see what happens. Not really sure what we're going to see from here. We might have to, I might speed it up just depending on how this goes, because this is a bit of a stalemate situation, because of course, if we have a look at the resources, the actual resources, Haypro has 400 minerals, 100 gas, and Mills has 7 minerals and 5,000 gas. Not sure why he still has 5,000 gas, but obviously he wasn't able to get any units, because there's no units that cost all gas. So kind of sucks for him. If there was, he'd obviously be in an awesome position, but of course that is not the case. Yep, we are now done. The minerals are all done, apart from these few here. We got 240 in this little patch. We got 15 in this little patch, 40 in this little patch, and I think obviously we'll see a bit of a stalemate. Now, just to reiterate, on the stalemate situation, now in patch 1.2, there has been the feature added in so that when there is a stalemate detected, it's something along the lines of when both players aren't producing units, when they're out mining, something like that, the game actually just detects it and will offer the position for a draw for both of the players. So we may see that coming up soon, depending on how this goes. And all of these units have been cleaned up here by Haypro. He actually comes across with a drone attack here. The drone's providing the last bastion of hope for Haypro, coming across to defend against these tanks. He's going to need to pull them up here as well. You'd want to see a fungal on these to make sure he doesn't lift them up, but he doesn't pick it up in time. This auto turret here, the auto turret, by the way, actually has the building plating advantage, so the auto turret will be able to defend against a lot of attacks there, but of course it does go down eventually, given that there are 60,000 drones just sort of hanging out here, just cruising for a bruising. Where are we at? I don't know. Let's have a look. We got a couple of spine crawlers still out for defense for Haypro, so he's probably not going to be attacked for the moment. I want to see a worker war, although I suppose Haypro would win that, given that he has 41 drones against Mills' 2 SCVs. But let's just see these drones still marching around. This is like watching army ants just roll around the jungle or something like that, you know, with those huge hives that they have, just ripping up everything. Spine crawlers are going to come around. Not really sure what his plan is for these spine crawlers. He puts a couple down for defense, obviously one on the ledge and a couple down here at the main position here. I don't know. I think we got, what do we got? We got 2 queens in total, so it's not as if Haypro can actually move out with queens and start attacking things. We only have the 1 infestor. There's 1 lonely infestor somewhere. Not really sure where it is. But yeah, there's just here it is. 1 infestor. This guy's got only 3 kills for the moment. And so we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. We have a medevac with 1 marine in here. We got a raven here with 1 turret. This is what I'm talking about. If you had a few more turrets, you could actually just put down a few more ravens. You could actually put down a few turrets everywhere and just start mowing up all of the Zerg buildings. And there's really nothing that he can do about it, because the turrets can take care of Zerglings quite quickly. And of course, if needed, of course, Mills can actually just lift off, because there's nothing that Haypro can do about that. So I'm actually going to speed it up just a little bit. We'll put it on ×2 and just watch what happens over here, because obviously I know you guys have been sitting there for a while. Everyone's probably half asleep at this point, because this game has gone on for so long. Another turret goes down. We got a marine and a marauder here as well. Just going to take out this hatch, which is now all done. He's going to lift off the units there and just run away with those. So we'll follow. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll actually follow this this raven around and see what happens, because this effectively, on a smaller scale, is what you would see if they had have actually sort of produced more of these energy efficient units. I suppose they're greenhouse, no greenhouse gas on these units, but the corruptor, 1 corruptor coming in, but the corruptor is almost going to go down there. Not really sure why the corruptor came in to attack that. That's not a good position for him to be attacking into. We see a tank coming down here. Tank's going to have a shot at this spine crawler. There's really nothing that Haypro can do at the moment. A couple of mules coming down to repair this medevac, and of course the raven, which is quite low health as well. Yeah. Funny part being that Mills actually has no minerals to repair with. So drones coming in there. The drones do come in, and they are going to clean up most of these units, I would think. And that is effectively it for Mills. He has no more attacking units because the Raven got cleaned up. He can't even just sort of sit around and just use 1 Raven to just slowly mow away all of the Zerg buildings, which would probably take about 3 hours to do. But all these drones can obviously try and stop turrets anyway. So we are at that stalemate position. I'm wondering why, you know, one of these players hasn't GG'd, perhaps just out of good faith. But obviously this has been a fantastic game up to this point. And we have seen, probably first time for me at least, I don't know about you guys, but first time that I've seen this whole map, the whole map actually mined out. So as we can see, Mills actually saying it's a draw, Haypro agreeing, and a very good game, of course, called. Haypro, a little bit sad there. Apparently he fell asleep halfway through the game, and we'll just see. I haven't actually played in a draw, so as far as I understand, when you actually get to the draw position and the game detects the draw, it'll actually just put up it actually puts up a timer. I think it's like up in the corner here where it says time until draw or something like that, and you get like it's like a 5-minute warning or something like that. So we'll actually speed this game up. We're up to ×4 now. Of course, neither of these guys can actually do anything. Timer is on apparently, so we're just about done. So it was a fantastic game here between these two players there, with some awesome map control from Haypro, using his Milius and Zerglings to great effect to hold back the Terran army. And of course, Mills doing a great job with his upgrades, kept his Terran units all along on the correct path with his upgrades. So he was able to deflect just about everything that came across from Haypro. So great game. There we go. That is all done and dusted. The guys having a nice little chat there just at the end there, because there was really nothing that they could do. A draw is called. I'm not sure who gets points or whatever for that, but either way, that is done. Great little game there. Obviously, we didn't see what sort of my favorite part of late game is, where you get those sort of energy efficient units and trying to use them to clean up. But either way, that was a fantastic game. So make sure you leave some comments, leave some feedback, let me know how it goes. I know there'll probably be a little bit of graphical error through this, because I still haven't got my new computer yet. But hopefully everyone's still got to see the majority of this game quite nicely and very sexily. So everyone, make sure you send me some replays. I'm kind of looking for team game replays at the moment, so make sure you send some of them through if you've got them. I'm looking for anything, bronze, silver, gold, or even Master League if you're into that sort of thing. But I love the team game, so we want to see a few more of those. Send them through to me at docphillol@gmail.com, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Cheers.